Good Friday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Friday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson. Let's go on and talk about the weather for your Friday evening going into your future. First off, before we even go on and get started with anything, you know what we have to do on Friday evenings because we have made it officially all the way through the work week. And now it is time for the weekend, but obviously we have to get through tonight, and then tomorrow will be, some people say that Friday evening, that's like the official start when you get done with work or school, etc. But the actual weekend start, in my opinion, I believe starts really on that Saturday. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say there. Let's go on and talk about what are we going to talk about for tonight. Obviously, we will be talking about the flooding and that is ongoing throughout the state right now. We will also talk about the potential for that scattered to numerous convection as we move through Saturday and Sunday as well, even going into Monday and Thursday when it will drop as we go into next week. We also will talk about how pretty much the dry conditions and how the high pressure comes in, and then a strong cold front on Sunday night as well. So a good amount of stuff to talk about. So let's go on and just waste no time and go on and get started with it. First off, what's going on right now throughout the entire state? Well, we do in fact have some rainfall going on. Rainfall going on over here just to the south of Barnwell. Also rainfall going on over here near Edgefield, going just to the north of Augusta. We also do have some rainfall going on down here inside of downtown Charleston, going into Hilton Head Island, where we have flash flood warnings that are out. Flash flood warning observed, and it will do considerable damage for parts of Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester County. That was for North Charleston, Mount Pleasant, Goose Creek, Hanahan, West Ashley, downtown Charleston, I-26, I-526, Interchange, James Island, Johns Island, and Daniel Island as well. As life-threatening flash flooding and thunderstorms that are producing flash flooding right now is going on through there. And then also there's another one down here for Mount Pleasant and Isle of Palms, where there is between 3 to 6 inches of rainfall has fallen. An additional half an inch to an inch of rainfall is possible through there. We also do have a flood advisory over here, like we were just talking about, near Appling, South Carolina. That is for the next 10 minutes, so it's not going to be long. 1.5 to 2 inches to 2.5 inches of rainfall has fallen, and an additional 1 to 2 inches are expected. And so that's pretty much all that there is pretty much for everything that's going on. I mean, you may have some more isolated activity up there in the upstate, but it's very isolated. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Flooding going on also in Georgia as well. We also do have some rainfall in Alabama going into Florida. We have some rainfall going in from Canada to Nevada to even going into Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, so the Four Corners region. I'm going up here into Minnesota, Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, and everyone else, though, for the most part, looking dry for the most part. Texas has some rainfall going on. For cloud cover, we do have some heavy cloud cover going on right now near the coastal regions, also inside of the Midlands of South Carolina, and then also the upstate has some cloud cover moving on through there. And if we look at our cloud cover for the future, you see as we push this forward that cloud cover will continue as we move into tomorrow morning for our Saturday morning, and it will remain there pretty much for most of the day. It's going to stay cloudy throughout the entire state, not only through tonight, but through to tomorrow. Current temperatures right now, 74 in Columbia as well as 74 in Orangeburg, 75 in Somerville as well as 77 in Charleston, 76 in Georgetown, and even 78 in the Murrells Inlet, 78 in Myrtle Beach, and 74 in Conway, 77 in Beaufort, and if you move up here to the upstate, 71 in Greenville, 72 in Spartanburg, 72 in Anderson, and 72 also in Spartanburg and Gaffney, 73 in York, and 74 in Rock Hill. Now for our low temperatures for tonight, 69 in Greenville and even 68 in Spartanburg, 68 in Rock Hill, 69 inside of Newberry, and even 71 in Columbia, 71 in Orangeburg, and 71 in Barnwell, 71 in Walterboro, 70 in Aiken, and 72 in Moncks Corner, 75 in Charleston, and 75 inside of Hilton Head Island, 73 in Georgetown, and 75 in Myrtle Beach. For your rainfall for tonight, overall, a lot of rainfall, especially in that low country area, like we have been talking about flash flood warnings going on through there. But 100th of an inch to a tenth of an inch is in effect for like places like Greenville going into Spartanburg, for Rock Hill. Winsboro's included in there. Columbia is. Same thing with Newberry and Sumter. 100th of an inch to a tenth of an inch is possible there. And then maybe even a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch is possible for Anderson going into Greenwood. And then even some other places like Camden and Kingstree and Orangeburg. Then we also do have a quarter of an inch to a half an inch for Aiken going into Barnwell, Walterboro, Moncks Corner, Myrtle Beach. And then a half an inch to an inch possible for Georgetown, inch to an inch and a half possible for Hilton Island, and then maybe even an inch and a half to 2 inches possible for Charleston. And somebody will get 2 to 3 inches, and that's just without thunderstorm activity. And obviously, we've already seen areas that have already gotten more than 3 inches of rainfall. I saw, according to the radar, that someplace down there near Mount Pleasant, I believe, had around 6 to 7 inches of rainfall. So a lot of rainfall has already fallen for some regions. At my house today, I got 3.58 inches of rainfall. So pretty much 3.5 inches of rainfall today at my house today. And it was all pretty much, I wouldn't really say it was in a short time, but it wasn't too long. It was not too long at all, which is why we put on our flash flood warning earlier. Now for the crazy score, we're at a 47 for tonight, moderate in the moderate category, noticeable weather conditions such as moderate rain, wind, or minor storms, and that's pretty much what wraps it up. I mean, we're not really seeing any strong storms that are coming through, but definitely moderate to heavy rainfall definitely is ongoing. Now for the SPC outlook, let's see if they go on and updated it, because they always do this. They always do. They always upload it right when I go live. Here's the new one, right here. New one, not really much has changed, but everyone still has a chance for a thunderstorm tonight. If you see some convection, it will have a chance for a thunderstorm as you move through tonight. For tomorrow, same thing pretty much, except for that region right there seems to be just to the north of Florence. I believe that's where Chesterfield and then also near like Chirala and close to Bennettsville is. We're like right on that border of the light green area, but everyone inside the light green, thunderstorms are possible for you tomorrow. And then for Sunday, everyone has a chance for a thunderstorm on Sunday as well. Now for excessive rainfall, this is where obviously we start to get into the important stuff, especially since we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall that still is in effect over here from Augusta down into Aiken, into Bamberg, to Walterboro, to Hampton, to Ridgeland, to the coastal region from Charleston, Key Island, Beaufort, Hilton Island, from Moncks Corner all the way up towards Orangeburg. And then that is for scattered flash flooding. And if you're inside the green, places like Greenville going into Spartanburg, Seneca, Anderson, Due West, Greenwood, Saluda, Ridge Spring, and even St. Matthews is included, Somerton is included, and even Georgetown is as well. That is for, again, some isolated flash flooding there. Then here it is for tomorrow. Tomorrow we still have that slight risk of excessive rainfall. That is for, again, some of these same areas. Goes from just to the south of Georgetown going into the Tri-County region of Dorchester, Berkeley, Charleston County, again going into Beaufort, Walterboro, and then up here. And then we have a marginal risk with isolated flash flooding that goes again from the upstate down into the western Midlands, into the northern low country and southern Midlands, up into Myrtle Beach and Carolina Forest. Day 3, things finally start to kind of like tick down a little bit more. This is for Sunday. Isolated flash flooding from Landrum down towards Walhalla. And that's it there. Day 4 for Monday, we get a break. Day 5 for Tuesday, we get a break. So no excessive rainfall is expected there. So let's go on now and look at the models. So the time will be in the top right corner of your screen. Make sure that you go on and pay attention to that. You can see obviously all the rainfall that is ongoing. And if you only push this forward, you can see that some rainfall will continue through from 12 a.m. all the way into around 1, 2, 3 a.m. as that rainfall still moves into the low country of South Carolina. It's not done. Not done at all. That will push through 5, 6, 7 a.m. going to around 8, 9, 10 a.m. We're seeing a lot of rainfall now on the western side, on that Georgia-South Carolina border move in. And we have that rainfall obviously moving in. Still from the coastal regions, now moving up towards like the PD and the Grand Strand, where that rainfall will go in and intensify more as it gets to around like 1 p.m.-ish tomorrow. And if you push this forward even more, you can see still that rainfall still goes on in a lot of those regions that have already been impacted by flash flooding. But by the time we get to around 12 a.m. on tomorrow, so that's around 34, probably a bit more than 34, but or a bit less than 34, I believe around 28 hours out from now. A lot of that rainfall will have moved off, and then that storm system will move off and actually will turn to a low pressure, and it will try to do something in the tropics. Now, will it impact us? Obviously, it already is, but it seems to be kind of moving to the eastward direction, so I don't think it's going to turn around and come back. But I mean, ensembles on it so far pretty much say that it's pretty much just going to move out. And that's what most model runs were saying even before that as well. But a lot of moisture still with that. If you go even further into the future, you can see starting off, there goes that low pressure as it moved its way off. And we stay dry for a good amount of time. You're not seeing too much precipitation. A high pressure takes over. August 29th, we're here, and we're not seeing any sort of heavy precipitation, any sort of heavy storm activity. Yes, we will be receiving some rainfall, but we're not seeing anything major in terms of a storm system until probably around like September the 1st, once we go through there, as some rainfall moves through. And once we get to around September the 4th, we really can't go any further than that just because it's over 300 hours out. But for the most part, it seems like that maybe an early storm system to start off September sometime. And then obviously another thing that we're watching for as well is that cold front that's about to move through. Here it is right here. You can see it right there at the top of your screen. You can see the kind of like the distinct difference between the 40s dew points going all the way down to the 60s and the 70 dew points. And it will push into South Carolina again, probably around like that Sunday night going into that Monday morning is when that cold front will move through. We will start to see drier in terms of just in terms of like the muggy feeling. We'll start to receive some drier conditions there, and also just dry conditions in terms of rainfall as well, as you just saw. And it stays relatively on the drier side in terms of those dew points. Now, if you go into your anomalies, you can really see all that cold air. I mean, look at all this cold air that you're seeing from Texas all the way from Arkansas to Louisiana to Mississippi to Alabama to Georgia, and then it moved its way all the way up into the Ohio Valley, up into the Mid-Atlantic, from Virginia all the way up into New York. I mean, you're just seeing all of this cool air come down, and this will be a pretty, significant cold front because this is, I've seen some people say this is actually kind of rare, especially to see late into August. I mean, you can't even get really like a full cold front down into Florida, even in September. And this cold front makes its way down into Florida. So that is, again, for this early, this is kind of rare to say and to see this early, this cool air this early. And if we want to talk about this in terms of exact temperatures, obviously the temperatures won't be exactly correct, but I mean, we're only going to receive high temperatures again in the low 70s, or I should honestly say low 70s, like low to mid 80s. And like I said, yesterday and a couple of days ago, that 10 degrees, for some people that might be like, okay, well, that's not that much of a cool down, but a 10 degree cool down is still a 10 degree cool down. So I still would say that that's a win. And if you go into low temperatures, though, those go all the way from the low 70s into the maybe the mid 50s for some as you move into like the last couple of days of August. So again, I definitely would see a win there, especially if I liked or even loved the cool air like that and want the cool air to come back. But once we get into September, like I said, the heat does not go away forever because by the time we get into early September and we move into the first couple of days, it seems like that warm air, that hot air, will come back as we'll have high temperatures back into the 90s, high 90s for some. But look at this; it seems like almost another cold front pushes through. In like right after that warm air decides to come back, and some more cool air comes down. And if this happens again, this is 300 hours out. We could potentially seeing those low temperatures for mainly everyone inside the mid 60s to high 50s, and maybe even the low 50s for some. But that's 300 hours out. I know the people who love the cool air are definitely, you know, trying not to scream out loud, but I will say that this is still 300 hours out, so I would just continue to wait. I would just continue to wait right now. But for sure, there is cool air on the way, especially for next week, so that's something to look forward to. That's it, though, that I want to talk about here. So let's go on and talk about the tropics now, because Aaron, if you have not seen the news yet about Aaron is now a post-tropical cyclone. It is at 90 miles per hour right now. Aaron will continue to produce life-threatening surf and rip currents along the beaches of the Bahamas, much of the east coast of the U.S., Bermuda, and the Atlantic Canada during the next few days. Beachgoers in those areas should follow advice from lifeguards, local authorities, and beach warning flags. Some coastal flooding is expected at times of high tides along ports of the U.S. Mid-Atlantic and New England coast through tonight, making some roads impassable. Large waves along the coast could also cause significant beach erosion and overwash. Gale force wind gusts are possible on the coast of Nova Scotia today and the Avalon Peninsula of Newfoundland on Saturday. But this is their last advisory for Aaron. Let me go and see rip currents though for today. We had this moderate risk, but tomorrow there still is actually a little risk. Even though honestly, this honestly might not really even be too much from Aaron, because I mean Aaron at this point is all the way over here. But you can see down here like in Florida where they have that high risk. So honestly, I think these rip currents that we are getting might not even be from Aaron for at least the majority part of it. But there still is a moderate risk for tomorrow still. And then obviously that's pretty much all we have to talk about. So that was pretty much the last time really going into depth with Aaron and updating it, every like I believe 3 to 6 hours or so is when they do it. Every 6 hours I believe is when they update it. So Aaron is really, especially for us, no longer a threat. But Aaron's not the only one that we're looking out for. We have this one over here, Disturbance 1. This is Invest 90. It says, showers and thunderstorms have not become any better organized this evening in association with a trough of low pressure located a couple hundred miles northeast of the northern Leeward Islands. Environmental conditions appear conducive for further development of the system, and a tropical storm, not a tropical depression, a tropical storm is very likely to form this weekend while it moves northwest and then north over the southwestern Atlantic. Interest in Bermuda should monitor the progress of this system, as watches or warnings could be required on Saturday. For additional information, to see the National Weather Service and high seas forecast, this has a 80% chance of forming over the next 48 hours and a 90% chance of forming over the next 7 days. And so this will actually become, or at least most likely become, Tropical Storm. I believe it's just Fernand. It's not Ferdinand or anything like that. I believe Tropical Storm Fernand is the next name. So this area right here should take Tropical Storm Fernand. But the main question that I probably will get, will this storm right here impact South Carolina? And from at least most of the ensembles right now, for the most part, they're saying that this will just continue to kind of just go north and not really impact us as much. The Euro's not saying anything. The GEFS is saying that it's just going to continue north. You also have the GFS, we look for, the G, and also the GEPS also saying that this will just continue to go north. So like I said, I don't think that this really will have any sort of effect on us. And then we have this other one over here, Disturbance 2, which is Invest 99. This one says that showers and thunderstorms associated with a tropical wave located about midway between Africa and the Windward Islands remain disorganized. While there still is some chance that a short-lived tropical depression could form during the next day or so, the system is expected to move through a less conducive environment on Saturday. The wave could then reach a slightly more favorable environment late this weekend into early next week as it approaches the Windward Islands. So, if you remember the system, this was the one that was supposed to kind of die out. It was the orange area over there, and it was just moving off Africa. And when I was just talking about it, and I said that this probably would not be a threat for us, and we did the whole applause for it and everything like that because it was looking like it wasn't going to do anything. But now some models have picked up on some more activity, saying that we might not be quite done with this at all. We might not be done with it at all. And one thing that I do want to go on and look at is if you go on and look at this area, you can see there it is down here in the bottom side right here, right where my mouse cursor is, and it continues to move its way through, moves its way west towards the leeward and the Windward Islands, and then it kind of just goes on into the Gulf, and then kind of just intensifies a little bit. It seems almost. And then by that point, we get just way too far out. And at this point, there's just way too many members at that point. But something that we're going to have to watch for. Because there has been a couple of models that have said that this could potentially impact us in some way, shape, or form. So we're just going to continue to watch for that one. But that one, I don't think we might not be done with that one yet. But in terms of the tropics, that's pretty much it. Nothing else for the Atlantic really to talk about. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with Mr. Chris first, who says, good evening. Still raining here in Moncks Corner. First off, good evening to you. And thank you so much for that weather report for you. Thad then also says, good evening, Justified Trust all as well. I see some bed flooding going on over there. Be safe. I do have some videos that I will share. I don't know if it'll be tonight. It just matters if I can get them uploaded before. But I do have them. So I will go on and share them whenever I do get them all uploaded, though. Mr. Kristen says, remember to go on and hit the like button and the subscribe button to the channel out by sharing as well. So let's go on and check out the numbers. We've had 24 people tune in and we only have 9 likes. I have no idea what's going on there. I know. It's interesting. But if you are a part of that group of people, which I believe that is the 15 that have not hit the like button yet, make sure you go on and do so. It's free and you can change your mind at any time. If you don't know how to do it, you just go in and exit out the video real quick. Not completely exit out, but just unfull screen it. If you have a full screen, and the like button should be right there. On the bottom under the video. He also says, yes, another week done. Another week is done. My Aunt Shirley then says, good evening to all. Happy Friday. Have a blessed weekend. Same to you as well. Good evening to you. My cousin, Cheryl, says, good evening, everyone. How are you doing, Weatherman? I saw you on TV. I'm going to assume you mean on YouTube. But I'm not on TV yet. Hopefully, but not yet. I was saying, my cousin, keep up the good work. Love y'all. Be blessed. Cheryl, thank you so much for that. My Nana then comes on and says, hello, Jay. I've had a lot of rain. My pump is working overtime. That is, obviously I knew that was a problem earlier, but glad that, you have something that is indeed working, getting all that stuff out. Trail then also says, greetings, everyone, greetings to you. And Mr. Chris said, this is getting crazy. I'm going to assume you're talking about the tropics. But I mean, this was supposed to be an above average season. So there was nothing really we kind of should have expected this, but you never really, I mean, with Aaron kind of was like the first storm that really came through and even became the first hurricane. Not only did it become the first hurricane, but it became the first major one as well at the same time. And it did some damage for sure to some places, especially like North Carolina. Like I've seen some photos over there, but it wasn't anything devastating. And that's all that I have to say there. I don't see anything else outside the chat for now, so we'll be back to the chat. We will be back to the chat, but let's go on now and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina, which is San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and then also Duncan, Oklahoma. Starting off with San Antonio first, which I believe we have all 4 people here for tonight. But San Antonio for tonight, low temperatures tonight 77, high temperatures tomorrow at 94, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 77. There is a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight and then a chance of showers tomorrow. And we also do have a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow night as well. And if we go into severe weather, you do, in fact, have no risk for any sort of severe weather. But in terms of that excessive rainfall, last time we checked, obviously I didn't see any risk for any sort of excessive rainfall past just yesterday, and there seems to be a trend that continues. No excessive rainfall there either. Raleigh with low temperatures tonight 65, high temperatures tomorrow at 83, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 67. No precipitation is expected, as well as no severe weather is expected, as well as no excessive rainfall is expected. And then for Philadelphia, low temperatures tonight 62, high temperatures tomorrow at 83, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 66. No precipitation tonight or tomorrow. No severe weather is expected. And in terms of excessive rainfall, which is another big question, you in fact have no risk for any sort of excessive rainfall, so you're good there too. And then the final location being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight 70, high temperatures tomorrow at 94, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 66. No precipitation is expected at all, but you do have a chance for some excessive rainfall on Tuesday of next week. No severe weather is expected, but some isolated flash flooding is possible on Tuesday of next week. And that's it for those 4 locations. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? We do have a dangerous heat wave continues across parts of the West through Tuesday. High rip current risk and dangerous surf continues through the weekend, and there are flash flooding concerns through the weekend for parts of the Southeast and also in the Southwest as well. Also up there in the Mid-Atlantic from Virginia up into Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey. We also do have some air quality alerts out for like the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So they're kind of restricting their time outside or advising to. And that's pretty much all that I have there for what's going on throughout the entire U.S. So let's go on real quick and check out my video. Let me go on real quick and check out my video that I sent out. And this one right here was from, well, I took it myself, but this one right here was one that I took. This was of my backyard right here. As I'm trying to kind of get it. I know it's a bit blurry. It's just something that I just posted, but it was just in my backyard, just some flooding that occurred, just as we went through today, and obviously all of the rainfall that I've received. And so here's just another playback of it if you want to see it again. She'll look at the entire backyard, and then as you continue, you can kind of see like the little puddles, and then look in the even like the very far back to where you can see the water even rising up against the fence as well. But that's just the video that I got. If you have any flooding videos, I can show them tomorrow, as I will have some more that I will be showing tomorrow as well. So if you want to go on and send them when I go on and share mine, you can by sending them to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360, like South Carolina initial, weather360@gmail.com. Because I will be sharing mine tomorrow, and some more of mine tomorrow, and you can share yours as well. We do have the top fan for tonight with Mr. Chris, just completely just at the just isolated himself in his own island for number one. My Aunt Shirley's at number two, and then my cousin Cheryl's at number three. Congratulations to the three of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. And there's nothing else really that I have to add. There, Trail says, wow. And other than that, I don't see anything else. So I will be back tomorrow morning with your Saturday morning forecast update. Oh, hopefully, everyone has a fantastic rest of your Friday evening and a good weekend.